If you're watching this, maybe life feels a little too heavy right now. Maybe you're going through a breakup, a loss, a deep uncertainty about who you are or what you're doing with your life. Maybe the pain is quiet but persistent, like a low hum that never stops. Or maybe it's loud, chaotic, and confusing. And in times like these, it's easy to feel like we're alone, like we're broken, like we'll never get through it. But you're not broken. You're not alone. And you can get through this. In fact, Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, believed that moments like these, as painful as they are, hold within them the seed of transformation. Jung didn't offer quick fixes. He didn't believe in surface-level positivity. What he offered was depth, a way to understand ourselves that cuts beneath the noise and touches the soul. In this video, I want to share 3 of Carl Jung's most powerful teachings for getting through hard times. These aren't motivational quotes to slap on a mug. They're ideas that reach deep into the darkest parts of ourselves and remind us that even there, especially there, we can find healing. Let's dive in. 1. The wound is where the light enters. Jung believed that what we avoid, ignore, or suppress doesn't just go away. It becomes the very thing that controls us. In his words, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. When we're in pain, our first instinct is to run from it, to numb it, to distract ourselves. And that's understandable. It hurts. But Jung's work invites us to do the opposite, to turn toward our suffering, to ask it what it's trying to teach us. He often spoke about the concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we repress, deny, or disown. This includes our fears, our rage, our shame, our helplessness, but also our power, our creativity, our truth. Jung said that our healing starts when we stop pretending, when we shine a light on the parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide. Because in the very place where we've been wounded, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, there is often a message waiting for us. Imagine your pain as a kind of messenger. It's not here to ruin your life. It's here to reveal something. Maybe that something is a part of you that's been neglected. Maybe it's an old story you've been living in that no longer serves you. Maybe it's a need you've ignored for too long. Jung would say, don't push the pain away. Dialogue with it. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to show me? What part of myself have I forgotten? What needs to be seen, felt, or loved right now? This isn't easy work, but it's real. And it's powerful. Because once you stop running from the darkness, it loses its power over you. Once you face it, it starts to transform. Just like a wound heals not when it's ignored, but when it's cleaned and cared for, your emotional wounds heal when they are faced with compassion. 2. The soul demands meaning. When life feels meaningless, we suffer deeply. Jung understood that beneath our anxiety, depression, or despair is often a spiritual hunger, a need for meaning. He wrote, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. We are not machines. We are not just bodies and minds. We are souls. And the soul doesn't just want comfort, it wants meaning. That doesn't mean you need to find some grand life purpose right now. Jung wasn't talking about hustle culture or personal branding. He was talking about finding meaning even in the struggle. In fact, Jung believed that suffering itself can be meaningful if we're willing to engage with it. He saw pain not just as a problem, but as a potential doorway. You might be asking, how the hell do I find meaning in something that's hurting me? Here's where Jung's idea of individuation comes in. Individuation is the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are, not who society wants you to be, not who your parents hoped you'd be, but who you are at your core. Every hard time, every heartbreak, every breakdown can become part of that process. Part of the story that helps shape you into a deeper, wiser, more honest version of yourself. So, when you're in pain, Jung might say, ask not just how do I stop hurting, But what is this trying to awaken in me? Maybe your heartbreak is teaching you what kind of love your soul truly craves. Maybe your burnout is showing you that you've been living someone else's dream. Maybe your depression is a signal that something in your life no longer aligns with who you are. This isn't about romanticizing suffering. It's about refusing to waste it. Your pain can mean something. It can shape your future in a way that nothing else can. It can guide you back to yourself. And that, Jung believed, is the deepest kind of healing. 3. Wholeness over perfection. In the world we live in, there's so much pressure to be perfect, to have it all figured out, to always be happy, productive, successful. But Jung had a different goal in mind. I'd rather be whole than good. Wholeness for Jung means embracing all of who you are, even the parts you don't like. It means dropping the mask. Letting go of the idea that you have to be strong all the time. Letting yourself be messy, human, real. When you're going through something hard, it's easy to feel like you're failing, like you should be over it by now, like everyone else is doing better than you. But healing isn't linear. Growth isn't glamorous. And wholeness doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you're no longer ashamed of your struggles. Jung taught that we each have multiple selves within us. The wounded child, the wise elder, the lover, the critic, the dreamer, the shadow, the light. True healing doesn't come from silencing parts of ourselves. It comes from integrating them, from welcoming every part of our humanity. So if you're grieving, grieve. If you're angry, feel it. If you're lost, let yourself wander. The goal isn't to get back to who you were before the pain. The goal is to become someone new, someone whole. Wholeness is permission. It says, you don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be perfect. You get to be you. And that is more than enough. So if you're in the middle of something hard right now, take a breath. You don't need to have it all figured out today. You don't need to rush the healing. You just need to stay with yourself. Jung believed that even in the darkest times, the psyche is always trying to heal, always moving toward wholeness. Sometimes that movement is slow. Sometimes it's invisible. But it's happening. Your pain is real. But so is your resilience. And just because it's hard right now doesn't mean it will be hard forever. This moment you're in, it's not the end of your story. It's part of your becoming. So be gentle with yourself. Be curious. Be honest. And most of all, don't give up. As Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. You're not broken. You're awakening. And there is more for you.